In this video, we are comparing TurboTax, H&R Block, and FreeTaxUSA for the 2026 tax filing season, meaning you are filing your 2025 taxes, and the goal is simple. Pick the software that matches your return, your budget, and your tolerance for friction. Before we start, 2 quick context points that matter in 2026. First, many people who expected to use the government-run IRS direct file option will not have it for the 2026 filing season, so the private software decision matters more than it did recently. Second, IRS Free File is still a major option for eligible taxpayers, and it can change the economics of this entire comparison if you qualify. Now let us define what best actually means. The best tax software is not the one with the most ads. It is the one that gets you to a correct return, with the least time, the least stress, and the lowest total cost, including state filing fees, and any support upgrades you end up needing. So I will grade each platform across 6 decision factors. Total cost for federal and state. Coverage for common complexity, like itemizing, investments, rental property, and self-employment. Guidance quality, including live help and how well the software prevents mistakes. Data entry speed, including imports and document capture. Upsell pressure, meaning how often you get pushed into a higher tier. And finally, confidence features like accuracy guarantees and audit and notice support options. If you only remember one idea from this video, remember this. Most people choose tax software backwards. They start with the brand, then they accept the price. The smarter approach is to start with your forms and your support needs, then pick the product tier that fits. So here is the quick mental checklist you should run before you spend any money. Do you take the standard deduction or do you itemize? Do you have investment sales, crypto transactions, or a Schedule D? Do you have rental income or a Schedule E? Do you have contractor or side hustle income and expenses, meaning a Schedule C? Do you have multi-state issues? Do you need a human to review your return? Or are you comfortable self-filing with software guidance? Keep those answers in mind, because the winner changes based on them. Now we start with TurboTax. TurboTax is the premium experience layer for many filers. The user interface is polished, the interview flow is smooth, and it is excellent at reducing cognitive load for people who hate taxes. If your priority is speed through a guided process and you value strong import options, TurboTax often feels like the easiest path. Where TurboTax usually wins is the end-to-end experience. The software is built to keep you moving. The prompts are clear, the error checks are frequent, and the product tends to do a good job translating tax language into normal language. For W-2 filers with a handful of common credits, that can be a real quality of life upgrade. TurboTax also has a well-developed support ladder. If you want access to Tax Pro support, you typically step up into an Expert Assist tier, which is priced separately from the pure do-it-yourself tiers, and state filing fees are commonly additional on paid tiers. That structure is convenient when you want help, but it is also where total cost can climb. So who should seriously consider TurboTax in 2026? First-time filers who want the smoothest onboarding and the most hand-holding without walking into a tax office. Second, people with moderate complexity, like a home purchase, itemizing, and some investments, who still want an intuitive process. Third, anyone who values a highly polished mobile and desktop experience, including document capture and ID checks, and is willing to pay for that convenience. Now the watch-outs with TurboTax. The biggest is cost volatility and Upgrade pressure. Many people begin in a free or low-cost flow, then discover that one form triggers an upgrade. The classic examples are itemizing, investment sales, or self-employment income. If you are not careful, you can end up paying more than you expected at the final e-file step, especially after adding state. The second watch out is that TurboTax free filing is narrowly defined. It can be free for a simple Form 1040 return, but the moment you step outside that definition, you are typically in paid territory. So if you want the premium user experience and you want the strongest guided flow, TurboTax is often a top contender, but you should treat it like a premium airline ticket. It is great when you value comfort, but you must check the final price, including state, before you commit. Now we move to H&R Block. H&R Block sits in a very strategic middle ground. It is usually less expensive than TurboTax at comparable tiers. It often includes strong guidance, and it has something TurboTax cannot fully match, in-person support as a backstop if you choose to escalate. Think of H&R Block as the hybrid option. You can file online yourself. You can get live help in the software on paid tiers. And if you decide you want a professional to do it, the brand has physical offices and service channels that many people find reassuring. Where H&R Block often wins is value for people who are just beyond a simple return. If you itemize, if you have common deductions, or if you want built-in guidance without paying top-shelf pricing, Block can be a strong fit. Another meaningful advantage is that H&R Block often positions its free tier to cover more situations than some competitors, though you still need to read the included and excluded form list carefully. Now, who should pick H&R Block in 2026? First, homeowners and families who may itemize and want a balance of price and guidance. Second, filers who want the option of live expert help on demand but do not want the highest priced ecosystem. Third, anyone who likes the psychological safety of having a physical office option if things get complicated. Now the watch outs with H&R Block. The main one is the same category as TurboTax, the state fee and the tier ladder. Even if federal pricing looks reasonable, state filing is commonly an add-on per state, and multi-state situations can move the final number quickly. The second watch-out is that pricing can be promotion-heavy. You might see one price early in the season and a different price later, or you might see discounts for new users. So for a fair comparison, you should always compare your total for your exact filing situation, including state. If you want a solid balance of guidance, flexibility, and cost control, H&R Block is frequently the most practical choice for mainstream filers who are not purely simple, but not extremely complex either. Now we move to FreeTaxUSA. FreeTaxUSA is the cost efficiency champion in this comparison, and it is not close. The core proposition is simple. Federal filing is free across a very wide range of tax situations, and then you pay a relatively low fee for state filing, with optional upgrades if you want higher touch support or audit defense. That model changes the entire decision tree. If you have a more complex return, like investments, rental income, or self-employment, and you are comfortable doing your own data entry and reading prompts carefully, FreeTaxUSA can deliver an incredibly strong value. Where FreeTaxUSA wins is obvious: total cost. It also wins in a less obvious way. It reduces the psychological stress of upgrade traps. You are not constantly wondering if one more form will force you into a much higher priced tier, because the federal side remains free and the paid PCs are more transparent and modular. Now, who should pick FreeTaxUSA in 2026? First, budget-focused filers who want to keep total filing costs low, especially if they do not mind a less polished interface. Second, filers with complex forms who do not want to pay premium brand pricing just to include a Schedule C or Schedule D. Third, people who are comfortable being careful, meaning you will review your entries, double-check numbers, and read the explanation text rather than relying on glossy information.